When I first remember seeing a border, it was in Ireland, where people were physically being stopped to cross that border, and the goods and vehicle or traffic was actually also stopped and restricted in what they could do. I remember when we first got a car in our house, having to go to the border to get a triangle that went on your windscreen, which indicated that you could cross the border from one part of Ireland to the other. And that had to be on show and had to be renewed every year so that you could take your car across the border. Not with any goods in it, but just simply the vehicle itself and the people within it. So the border itself has always been an issue around, and it comes down to partition. And we'll hear the same situation, I'm sure, in relation to Cyprus and other situations around the world, where partition very often became the solution, particularly from the British government point of view, that if they couldn't resolve the problem or didn't work out in their favour, they simply partitioned the country, and divide and conquer become the way of actually dealing with it. And that was, so partition doesn't solve the problems at all. It makes it worse for those who actually want to see a solution, in our point of view, from an Irish unity point of view, to actually try and remove all borders. And so whenever we had the conflict, the border was then reinforced. First of all, the border, and any border in that way that's restricting the movement of people, I think would always be a target in a conflict situation. And so those who are manning the border became a target, and then the resistance from that, you had lookout posts, you had watchtowers, you had the whole militarisation of that border, which was allegedly just about the movement of people, would then become a frontier in that situation, and it was basically the enforcement of the border, and a number of people were murdered in trying to cross that border. So the European Union, in the Good Friday Agreement settlement, removed those borders. The British government took down the checkpoints after a period of time, removed the lookout posts, and developed the removal of the border, but also the support for the border counties on both sides to try and neutralise the area, which was like a no man's land between that. And so it has also meant that the new communities have come into Ireland, have come into both the south of Ireland and to the north, and I live in an area which is quite a number of new communities of Polish and Portuguese and very different nationalities that come in to work in the meat plants and engineering and various different, bringing skills with them to actually to develop and to expand the industry that's there. So the European Union, from our point of view, has been good to actually develop the peace process. It has been supportive of it, and it also has provided the free movement of people back and forth. But now you're getting into a situation, for instance, that those who would come to work on farms could actually have to carry their documentation with them on a regular basis. If they're working on a field on this side of the border, and the farmer owns a field on the other side of the border, which doesn't exist, there's no border exists, but that movement of people, it actually could be restricted in the future. At present time, from an Irish government point of view, they are restricting the movement of people who have just come into the north and who have no passport clearance for going into the south, that those people actually have to carry their documentation with them in order to farm or to work at vegetables, to work on the farm, whatever way, in the south of Ireland. And a number of those have recently been arrested and tried away with the Gardaí for proof of identification. So that disrupts the whole system. And that was from a farmer who had a farm and land on both sides of what was the border, north and south, but who actually didn't see any problem in people travelling across from one field to the other. The cattle don't make any difference where they cross the field from one to the other. The grass is better on the other side, they go and eat it. And the same thing with people. So it's an artificial border, and throughout all the period of conflict, the British government couldn't enforce that border. and I can't see how the European Union could enforce it in the future. So it is important that we look at the benefits of what the European Union have brought to the peace process, to the conflict resolution, and to the movement of people north and south, which has allowed the growth of industry and has reduced the unemployment within the island of Ireland. Anything that breaks that endangers both the peace process but also the economic development of the island of Ireland. Thank you. What we want to see now is special status for the North within the European Union. That if Brexit, whenever that happens, that the North could still have access to those resources, could still have access to the common agricultural policy, and could also have the special support within the European Union after the British government. Because at the end of the day, the majority of people in the North voted to remain, and that's where we are making that particular demand. That's where we are looking for that special status. And we can identify that we did have the special programmes, the special peace programme, the special rural programme. We have had special designation within Europe, and what we want to do is retain that in the future.